Woo! What's going on, guys? Almost fun coming at you guys today with another video. And today I want to talk about Detroit Lions. And I want to ask everybody, how concerned are you about this Detroit Lions O-line? Now, the hits keep coming, and they're not in a good way for the Detroit Lions. We all know injuries are a part of the game. We know this, but wow, this team has sure been taking the hits in the negative way. As you guys already all know, we lost starting right guard Halapula Vaitai, better known as Big V, with a back injury. He's on IR for 4 weeks, not due back until week 5. Is that going to be after? Are they going to maybe take their chances and maybe have him miss week 5? We have a bye week 6. Could they maybe extend that a week or so and try to get him healthy? Back injuries are tough, especially for a guy that size. He's a giant of a man, and he's known to be injury prone as well too. So fingers crossed that Big V comes back, because he did have a very good year last year at right guard. Right tackle, he was a disaster. We all know that, but at right guard, he was much better, and he played really, really good. Now, Logan Stenberg entered the fray week 1 because our backup right guard, Tommy Kramer, an undrafted guy out of Notre Dame, fighting Irish. He ended up missing week 1 with a back injury too. Now Kramer, brand new news, goes on IR and isn't going to be available to return until week 7 versus the Cowboys with another back injury. Now I think that's huge news. We're down to our reserve. Our second reserve at the guard position being Logan Stenberg. Played against Philly. We know this. He was up and down that game. He had a couple bad penalties. He wasn't very good in pass protection, but he made a lot of nice blocks in the run game. If you can go, if you don't believe me in that one, we saw what the numbers were. It wasn't just all Logan Stenberg, obviously. Swift had something to do with that. But Logan opened up a lot of holes. He was known at Kentucky as a guy that was a mauler who could play exceptional in the run game, run blocking, obviously. But like, was not a very good pass protector. They set all kinds of records at Kentucky when he was the O-lineman there for running the football. And they were known to run the football, obviously. And he just wasn't very good pass pro. Now, me personally, and it sounded like because you guys know how I kept up with the reports this year, with all the Detroit media, all the sports writers, podcasts, everything that I tried to find out about this team. I searched the internet. I try to read articles. I try to listen to podcasts, so on and so forth. And during the summer, it was really sounding like UDFA, the kid out of MSU, Michigan State University, Kevin Jarvis, was winning that job over Stenberg. Stenberg did play well at the last maybe couple games of that preseason. He had a pretty good week and a half of practice. And then Jarvis went down. We ended up injuring him and injuring him at the same time. I don't even know. I think Kevin Jarvis might be on our not our practice squad, because he's done for the year. But I believe that he was signed back to the roster, but placed immediately on IR because he was wave injured and nobody picked him up. Not that I know of. I could be wrong on that. I should have actually looked that up, but I never did. But I'm pretty sure we still have him on the roster. But he's not going to play 2022. He's done. I personally thought he was going to win that job behind Kramer, be the third guard where Logan Stenberg was, and I thought they were going to release Stenberg. It sounded like that big time with all the reports out there, but it never happened. Jarvis ended up getting hurt. Logan stayed healthy. Logan played a little bit better down the stretch of preseason camp, however you want to say it. And he ended up winning. I don't know if it was by default, but he ended up making the 53-man roster. Now, The coaching staff, like I said, they saw the ups and downs of Stenberg week one. Hank Fraley coming out saying that there was some positives, but there definitely was some negatives. Dan Campbell saying the same stuff, saying there's a lot of things he needs to learn how to do. He was coming out hot with those 2 false starts. He wanted to murder somebody with his according to his words, he wanted to come out and slaughter someone. He wanted to really hit somebody, but he had two false starts in a row. He ended up being a big part of that pick six that Jared Goff threw when he let Fletcher Cox in on him on a pass protection and didn't give Goff much time. And Goff ended up throwing blindly into double coverage with the third guy coming in. It was a bad throw by Goff as well too. A lot of bad stuff happened on that pick, man. Not just Stenberg, not just Goff, not just Hawkinson. Those three were the main culprits, but there were some things that happened there that never should have happened. But Stenberg, we're talking about the OLINE. He let Fletcher Cox come in and create some heavy pressure. Now, we got to be really careful. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about this O-line. We ended up signing Drew Forbes, another left guard that was out of Cleveland. We ended up signing him. We also signed a guard, and I don't know if I'm going to butcher his name right now, Coyote Ewosika. Big dude, 6'5", 320 pounds, from the Eagles practice squad. Now, he was a UDFA 2021 who has played multiple positions and shown some promise in the preseason. Did play 43 snaps at right guard last year for the Philadelphia Eagles late in the year. So he's a guy that is literally backing up. He's backing up Jonah Jackson, I think, right now. He's backing up Jonah Jackson, and Drew Forbes is backing up Logan Stenberg. That worries me big time. Now, like I said, the injuries are building up, and it's not just a couple guys. It's not just Vaitai and Kramer on the IR. It's Ragnow with the groin, and I think on yesterday's injury report they put groin and foot. So we all know he had that foot injury last year, missed a ton of games, and they put groin foot. So I don't know and then Campbell coming out and saying that he was just sore, tired. And it was a rest day. I think a lot of times Wednesdays are rest days. It's obviously Thursday today. We saw a lot of guys on the Wednesday injury report that will probably be off it by Friday. We'll see what happens today in the injury report. I don't know yet. I'm doing this video a little bit early. But Ragnow with the groin foot. You got Decker now with the calf injury. He was seen with a compression sleeve draped over his leg. So he's a little bit banged up, and then missing some practice yesterday. Those guys actually missed practice. Ragnow and Decker. So rest day, probably more than likely they're veterans, banged up. It's a Wednesday. Rest them up, get them going maybe for today, and then see what happens the next couple days. Now, new to the list too yesterday was left guard Jonah Jackson. He has a finger injury now. Now I know O-line, man, they can wrap that stuff up. They're pretty tough, but I don't know the severity of his injury. But now it's just starting to make me a little bit nervous because we got guys like Drew Forbes and Coyote Ewosika that are backing up Stenberg and Jonah. And it makes me a little bit nervous. It makes me a little bit nervous. We can't afford to lose another guy. The only guy that's not hurt is Penei Sewell. Now, and I know, man, it's the NFL. Guys play hurt constantly. Nobody's ever healthy going into the season, really. We'll go into the season. It just all depends. But as this season, the wear and tear goes pretty bad on a body, and you got to be careful with these guys, especially the seasoned vets. But I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, guys. I don't know about you, especially with Drew Forbes and Ewosika as our backup guards, who have very little experience playing during the regular season. They've gotten in there a couple times, but they're not experienced guards at all. But they have some versatility, and we'll see what happens. And we also got Matt Nelson in there too somewhere, as a reserve tackle, but I don't really want to see him out there as well. So He's another guy that has problems in the pass pro, but is a pretty good run blocker. We are a running team, so just a little nervous, guys. I know it's not a real sexy video, man, talking about the O-line or anything like that. There's nothing to get excited about when it comes to the O-line, but this is the bread and butter of this team. This is supposed to be the bread and butter of this team, man. This O-line. All the talk about how this O-line is top 5, top 3. I don't think it's. I personally never drank that Kool-Aid on that. I do think it's a top 10 O-line when all 5 guys are healthy, and we've already had it. Last year, not one snap. 5 of our starting O-line took a snap together during the regular season, and it's already started this year. And obviously with Vitae being out and Stenberg in there. So we've already continued the trend of having an O-line that's going downhill. I still think we have a very good O-line. They showed that last week against a pretty good Eagles defense. Not a great defense, but a pretty good Eagles defense. Blocked extremely well. Even I thought the pass protection overall wasn't that bad. Stenberg struggled, though, in pass pro. But I think, there was a few pressures, obviously. I don't know how many exactly, but there were pressures on Goff. He got sacked like once. By Cox, I believe it was Fletcher Cox. It might have been a group effort though on that one, but Fletcher Cox, I believe, got the sack, beating Stenberg. And Stenberg is just awful in pass protection. He's just bad. So this Washington game, it's a better D line, in my opinion. It's a D line that gets to the quarterback, even from their defensive tackle position. So, and we'll get on that later on. It's not about Washington right now, but I'm a bit concerned because of the backups we got going on at guard with Forbes and Awosika. A little bit troublesome, and then Stenberg. Stenberg's probably going to have to be in there for a while now, and hopefully he gets better pass protection. But I just don't. I'm very scared about the situation there. But that's the video, guys. Talking 12 minutes about the whole line. Sorry about that, but it's a big part of this team, and it's a big part of how this team is going to get going this year. So thanks for the video, guys. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, get all my vids. And don't forget to like and comment and share this out. Talk about the O-line. It's a very important part of this team. Obviously, we need these guys to stay healthy. One pride, go Lions. Boom.